Recording.
All right, we're back, and I've only done this, I think, once before. I'm on my Bandit. It's my 600 Bandit. It's a 2000 model GSF 600. And yeah, I'm wearing my kind of adventure supermoto helmet. That's the only thing that I've got a camera on it with the mic, so I like to ride this bike at least once a week, sometimes more than that. And it's really comfortable for a longer distance ride because it's a sport touring bike. It's nice and comfy. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is, and I can't believe I let it slip my mind. I don't know if it's progress or projects or whatever it is. But as of this spring, I have had this bike 20 years. I've had this bike 20 years this year, and I've put well over 50,000 miles on it. And I really like it. Some things about this bike. I've got a Dynajet jet kit in this thing. Dynajet. They didn't make a JD one for this one. At least they still don't, if they did. And I've just got a modified stock exhaust. I did have for lots of years a D&D exhaust on it out of Texas. It was stupid loud. But I had my friend gut this stock exhaust because it's stainless steel. It sounds aftermarket enough for me. I'm running a tank bag, and I've got a couple of if you can call them, a frame protector, frame sliders on it. I'm running the Conti Motion tires on it. They're good and hard. They do great in rain, as far as I can tell, as far as sport touring goes. And what else? I don't ride this in dusty conditions, and I run a BMC, I think it's what a BMC air filter, very similar to K&N. But I took this off, I took my carburetors off a couple of years ago because it was in need of a tune, or I say tune, it was in need of a carb clean, and I also wanted to sync the carbs because sometimes they get a little out of whack over that sort of time. And that was a relatively painless process. It was kind of a pain to get the carburetor pairs out of the bike, but not terrible. And syncing them, I just had a simple, I've actually got a different tool that I want to try and check that sync job I did, because I got the Motion Pro tool, because it was kind of hard to, it wasn't necessarily getting calibrated, but just to use the data that the tool was giving me, if that makes sense. So meaning I, got the bike all back together. You know, it immediately idled better, and it came off idle better. And I noticed, because this was a lot like the DRZ, if you will, and they had non-adjustable needles in there. So I put an adjustable needle on each of the carburetors, and with them synced, I just noticed a lot more, a better throttle response with these carburetors. We replaced the main jet, and we did a mixture screw on this, if I'm correct. There wasn't a pilot jet as a part of their program. I don't know why. it's really comfortable. Oh wow, we got a train. Some of the drawbacks of this design of engine, it's basically the same engine that the Katana had or has, and this is the same engine before they made the update of this one and the 1200 Bandit. They still have an oil cooler, and then they've got air cooling fins on it, so it's got no radiator. They moved the Bandit 1200 up to, I think, a 1250 when they went water cooled. And the Bandit 600 became a 650. And this is, if memory serves. I don't know if they moved the Bandit ever, the 650. I don't know if they went to fuel injection or not. I'll have to check my facts. But I'm not going to make statements on that. But this is, very much modeled like the original GSXR engines of old. And they're very much, they're mid-range. They're very much mid-range type engines. And it's not a real hard hit that they give. But this is a fun bike. It's always been fun, and I enjoy it, especially when I'm going to go cruise the road or anything like that. I'm waiting for the train to be able to get on by us. I'm going to go ahead and put it in gear so I don't have to hold the brake. I like to sit in the shade. Oh, look, it's getting on through. But to give a little bit of more background on this bike. When I started, this bike basically started me working on my motorcycles. Go ahead. This bike caused me to start working on my own motorcycles because I went to a motorcycle shop called Cycle Station. I don't mind putting their name on blast. It's up in Wichita. And I paid for a DID O-ring chain and sprocket change. And I paid it, it was a premium at that time. And they put a roller chain on it, which is, if you know what you're talking about, or what I'm talking about, that's a much less expensive chain. They had no O-rings in it. And they put a clip style master link instead of a rivet style master link, and this is a heavy bike, a 530 chain, and I had a little bit of a hard acceleration. I wasn't like dumping the clutch or anything. I was just getting on it a bit, and my chain flew off. It sheared. Thank goodness. I mean, my case protector on this protected it, but it did damage my there's a sprocket cover, and it's made out of cast aluminum. It sheared some parts off of it, which pissed me off. And I said, hey, what's the deal with this roller chain? I brought it back to him. I said, what's the deal with this roller chain? I say on my bill here that I paid $100 and something for this chain, and this is a $30 chain at best, and you have a piece of shit clip master link on this thing. This is a 500 some odd pound bike. And they said, and I quote, well, we're white. That's what they said, because we're white here. We're going to go ahead and put a new one on, a new master link on there, and put this back on there for you. And I said, well, what about this chain? I said, you got what you paid for. And that was when I absolutely decided to work on my own stuff from then on, because they screwed me. And, for lack of better words, they effed me, and that pissed me off. Hello. But anyway, that's the story of how I started doing my own work. I had a friend at the time, Dr. Landis, And I told him what had happened, and the chain was still on there, and he said, "Man, that's garbage. There's no way that I would let that fly." And I didn't let it fly. He said, "Listen, order one through, it's a website that's not operational anymore, Bike Bandit. Go on Bike Bandit and buy what you want, and I'll help you put it on there, and I'll show you how to do it." And so through his tutelage, I did do it, and I never did had a shop do a chain for me ever again. I never, and it wasn't around that time that I also had a set of tires, Continental Sport Attack 1 or 2 or whatever they were, on my SV 1000. And I was going to use them on my GSXR 750 because those wheels were interchangeable. Anyway, long story short, I had somebody install them. I paid a premium price, and they didn't balance them. And they said they balanced them, and they started giving me attitude. So that's when I was absolutely done with anybody doing anything ever. And I bought a balancer so I could balance those tires, and I balanced all my tires on, at that time, the Bandit, on my Gixxer 750, and on my SV 1000, and they were all perfect. And a short time later, I purchased my Nomar tire changer, and I never let anybody change any tires for me again. So anyway, thanks for watching this vlog. I hope it was entertaining. Story times are always good. I'm going to hit some shoulders and back, and this is my last workout before I go to the track this weekend. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, you're the best.